Whether you're looking for a St. Patrick's Day Irish recipe or just a holiday main course, this vegan shepherd's pie is absolutely perfect. To start, we're going to peel and cube the potatoes to make the mashed potato topping. You're going to want to use russet or Idaho potatoes for this recipe. Peeling is optional if you don't mind the skin, and a big tip is cubing your potatoes smaller will help to reduce the cooking time of your potatoes. Inside of a heavy bottom pot, we are going to add in vegetable stock and our potatoes and then turn on your heat. We're using vegetable stock instead of just water to cook our potatoes in because it instantly adds another layer of flavor. And then we're going to turn around and turn that stock that the potatoes were cooking in into a gravy. And so you have some of that potato flavor inside of your gravy, and it just makes the most amazing mashed potatoes for the top of our shepherd's pie, as well as gravy at the end. Stir your potatoes around and make sure that all of your potatoes are under the stock. Then bring to a boil and let cook until fork tender. Important tip, don't overcook your potatoes or they will soak up too much liquid and can throw off the liquid ratios when you make your mashed potatoes. Now we're going to use a slotted spoon and remove the potatoes from the cooking stock, add in some vegan butter, unflavored non-dairy milk, salt, and pepper. One of the biggest things that we hear is that when people make mashed potatoes, they say that they taste bland. And I'm here to let you in on a little secret. 9 out of 10 times it is because you haven't added enough salt. Potatoes absorb and need a lot of salt, especially in something like mashed potatoes. And even though you may not want to believe you need that much salt, it is likely that you just need to add some more salt. Grab a potato masher and you're going to continue to mash until your potatoes have become fluffy and no large chunks remain. Give them a taste and season with more salt and pepper if desired. While we wait for our potatoes to cook, we are going to start making our meat filling. We are going to be using lentils and chickpeas as our protein in this dish because lentils still make it give that mouthy feel that we're looking for from like a meat without obviously using meat. If you don't want to use lentils, you could sub this with something like crumbled tofu, TVP, or even something like a meatless crumble if you would prefer to go that route. For our filling mixture, we are going to start by roughly chopping our veggies, which are carrots, celery, onions, and garlic. The garlic cloves you can leave whole, and then we are just going to put all of this into a food processor and pulse. If you don't have one, you can just dice the veggies and mince the garlic by hand. Also, remember to properly close the lid on your food processor so you don't freak out while making and tell your husband it broke. Moving on, add some oil into a large skillet. Just a tip when you are making this dish, when it comes to making the meat filling, highly recommend using a cast iron skillet like we are going to be using, or using another oven-safe dish. That is because you can make your meat filling, add your potatoes on top, and then go straight into the oven. However, if you don't have an oven-safe skillet, you can just put everything into a casserole dish as it is done, and then cook it in the oven that way. Adding your veggie mixture, don't worry, I promise I got the rest out of that food processor, and then stir together and cook until the onions and celery have began to soften. Add in cooked lentils, a whole can of tomato paste so there's no wondering how long you're going to leave the rest of it in the fridge, a jar of your favorite spaghetti sauce, veggie stock, and spices, which are salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, and nutritional yeast. Give this a stir, making sure to really mix that tomato paste in, and then let this cook for about 15 minutes. Then you're going to add in some chickpeas, corn, and frozen or fresh green peas. Combine all of this together again and let it cook for about 5 minutes or until all of your food has warmed throughout. Then it's time to combine our two parts that we have made. I have found it best to dollop the mashed potatoes across the top and then carefully spread it out to the sides until everything is touching and the top is completely covered. Once you have it covered, into the oven it goes to cook for about 25 minutes or until the edges have started to turn golden brown. Now, same pot you cooked your potatoes, you're going to melt some vegan butter over medium heat, then add some flour and whisk together until you have a roux. It should look something like this. Then add in your reserved stock that you cooked your potatoes in, whisking constantly, and then some salt and pepper and whisk again often until it begins to thicken to your desired gravy texture. It should easily coat the back of a spoon. And now look at this beautiful masterpiece that we have made. Really hope that you love this one. The full recipe can be found on our website at makeitdairyfree.com. You must try this vegan shepherd's pie. It is so good.